What is up, my nerd familia, and welcome to Games y Mas, the podcast where we dive deep into the world of board games, video games, and a little bit of pop culture. I'm your host, Vic, and I would like to be the first to welcome you here to our little corner of nerdom. Whether you are a diehard anime fan, a manga reader, a film buff, to a casual, intermediate, cozy board gamer, to an aspiring esports star in the video game world, or to everything in between, this podcast is for you. We would love to engage with you guys, share some stories within the nerd familia, so come join us. If anything that we've said resonates with you, hey, join our wacky adventures here at Games y Mas. We would love to have you here. So, with all that being said, pull up a chair, grab some dice, y acompáñame a jugar. Okay, we are back with another episode, guys. Welcome in, my nerd familia. ¿Qué onda? ¿Cómo están ustedes? Here at Games y Mas. Yes, welcome in, guys. Hopefully you guys are having a good start to your 2026. I mean, we're already in February at the time of this recording. This is your first time listening or watching, wherever you're watching or listening podcasts, watching or listening to podcasts. I want to say welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in here. You can find us on all socials. We're on X, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. We're at Games. You can find us at Games y Mas Pod, or if you want to look us up on YouTube, we're on YouTube as well. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, wherever you like to listen or hear your listen or watch your podcasts. Again, we're at Games y Mas Pod. Again, give us a follow. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Give us 5 stars. Grow the algorithm, guys. Join the nerd familia here as we are trying to just make episodes for you guys and just have some fun with you guys. Make some adventures. So join our wacky adventures, kind of like how I said in the beginning of the episode here. For today's episode, we are doing another Green Player episode here. I'll explain a little bit more about what Green Player is, our little segments on Green Player. We're going to be looking at Huddle, the fantasy football game, in celebration of the Super Bowl coming up here. At the time of this recording, the Super Bowl is going to be this weekend. But if you're listening to this later, you might have already seen the Super Bowl, but this is kind of more of a football-themed episode here, geared towards board gaming. I have my Broncos shirt on. I know, yes, they lost in the AFC Championship against the Patriots. And, that was very sad. But we didn't have the quarterback. Bo Nix was hurt, unfortunately. But congrats to the Patriots for winning that game. And now we'll see who takes it. Seahawks versus Patriots. So, in celebration of football, since football season is coming to a close this weekend, we want to talk about Huddle, the fantasy football game here. I'll explain a little bit more about that game, about the game here. We were lucky enough to have one of the creators join us on one of the episodes as they explained about the game there. So if you want to get more in depth of the origins of the story, Dylan did a great job explaining to us why they wanted to create this board game and their theory and their ideas behind it. So go check it out. And if you have already played the game, leave a comment below. Let me know what you guys thought about the games. Was it a good game? Was it a game that needs improvement? I'm very curious to know, and I'm pretty sure the creators are curious to know as well. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started with the episode. It's going to be a quick one. I like to do these Green Play episodes to be kind of quick, unless I have like Raul with me or somebody else with me. But today's just us, just me and you. So we're gonna talk. Let's talk a little bit here. Green Player. So what Green Player is, we created this about last year. It was kind of like a word and play where Green Player is. When it comes to board games, I like to be green. The green player, pretty much. Green token, green meeple, the green color team, whatever you name it. I love green. Green's my favorite color. And so we decided to call it Green Player because we like to be green in board gaming. Raul also likes, when he joins the podcast from time to time, he also loves to be green as well. It's his favorite color. So we're always fighting for that color, because green always wins, guys. I'm sorry, but hot take. If you're the green player, you're going to win, all right? And if not, then maybe you should be another color. No, I'm just joking. So Green Player, yes, we wanted to name it that. And then also the other meaning was because in, fantasy lore, talk, speech, I guess you can say, like Games of Thrones or Lord of the Rings or kind of like that fantasy-esque world, sometimes you might hear a phrase like, oh, the boy is green, he's still not ready. He is green, meaning he's new. He hasn't seen action in war. He hasn't seen combat. And so we kind of said, hey, we're green to these board games. We're new to these board games because we've never played these board games before. This is our kind of like our first thought reviews kind of our first impressions. And, we're not diving deep into the board game. We're just kind of off the bat, just what we thought about it, what we didn't like, what we liked. If we do more deep dives of board games, we do a top shelf or yard sale segments on the podcast as well. We just recently did one with Iris from Crimson Board Games. We looked at Come Sail Away. Go check that episode out if you're curious to know if that game is worthy to be on your top shelf or not. But yeah, so this episode's not geared towards super in-depth reviews. If you're looking for an in-depth review, I'm sorry, guys. This is more just kind of our first thought, first impressions. Hence Green Player, because we're new. We don't know. In order to meet the newish, kind of like our first time playing, we have to at least play it one to three times. We kind of established. Raul and I kind of talked and said, let's make it where it's our first time, or if we've played it at least three times, it's still considered new to us. And so we did that with Huddle. I've played that about three times, and I got to try it out with three different groups of players, which was very interesting to see here. But more on that later. And so that's the reason of why we're doing Green Player. Again, first impressions, and we also have a ranking system that we'll do at the end that we kind of created based on what we're giving it. If we're gonna have to, if you had to tell us right now, right there and there, what is the ranking of this game, we will give you this ranking as well. It could change. I mean, these rankings change every single time we play the game more and more. But this is first impressions, and then for you guys that are listening, maybe it's your first time hearing about this game. Maybe you can kind of get a first reaction review video podcast, I guess you can say. So without further ado, we'll go into Huddle, the fantasy football game here. The guys, Dylan, and they didn't really have like a company name. They just kind of named the fantasy footballer guys, or the Huddle, the fantasy football game. So they don't really have a company name. So it's not really made by a company. It's their first game ever, and they just created a game. Now, if you're not new to fantasy football, you're probably thinking, okay, fantasy football is like a game that you play based off of football. So now why did they make a game that's based off a game that is of a game, based on a game? So you're playing a game based on a game that's based on a game. Confusing, I know, but bear with me a little bit here. It works. It's fun. It's great. First impressions here. I enjoyed it. I thought this game was fun. I think it's a great, relaxing hangout game. Not a game that you have to really think so hard deep into like your moves, but also not a game where it's just like, super easy as like playing a card down. Like there's some strategy involved into this game. I enjoyed it. As I said earlier, I was able to play with three types of groups. The first time I played it with my brother, who's not really a big board gamer. His attention span is pretty short. Sorry, bro, but it is a little bit short. And so I got to play with him. He enjoyed the game a lot. In fact, we played it twice. Well, actually, no, we didn't play twice. We played it. We only made you can set your game, like the duration of the game, how long you want to play it. I only made it to like best 2 out of 3 weeks. When we got to the final, he won the two games, and he was like, let's keep going. He wanted to go. So we extended the weeks out. You can play as short as like a 1 week game if you really wanted to make it a 10-minute game, or play all 12 weeks and extend it out, make it a bit of a longer game. So I played with my brother. The second group I played with was one of my board gaming groups. So these guys are hardcore board gamers. They love playing Euros, love playing Ameritrash games. They're deep thinkers. They love to think. They love to play the more complex games. I got to play with them. They loved it. They enjoyed it. They enjoyed the fact that they were not big on fantasy football, and this was a great way to introduce them to fantasy football without actually committing to fantasy football. Because I know a lot of people think fantasy football that's a big commitment. You got to think about it, and it can throw you off a little bit. And maybe this game is just a quick, easy kind of give you the basics of what kind of fantasy football is a little bit, but not with the whole huge commitment. They enjoyed that fact. They loved it. They were great. They took notes of what they liked and didn't like. And so I might go over that with you guys as well. And then the third group of people that I played with were some of my best buds that, they play board games every once in a while, but, they're not super deep into the gaming community, but they'll play any game that I introduce them to. So you kind of have like that big spectrum. They enjoy that game. They loved it. It was the Sad Boys. We were playing with the Sad Boys, and Omar ended up buying the game. After we played the game, he's like, this is a game. He ended up buying it. He enjoyed it, and then he plays with his coworkers. But yes, so I had that big spectrum of non-gamer really doesn't really like playing board games on his spare time, heavy-duty board gamers, and then casual board gamers, and they all enjoyed the game. So that should tell you a little bit something that they really enjoyed this game. Like, it's a game literally for everybody. That even if you're not into the football scene, if you don't even enjoy the sport, I think this is just an even fun game to just kind of have some fun, draft some players, throw some dice, and then see what happens with the outcome. So it's a really great game to introduce to maybe new board gamers in here. But I'll show you here a little bit of the box. It's a pretty hefty box, actually. It's a pretty big box here. Huddle, fantasy football game. It's nice. The texture is really good. Plays to 2 to 6 players. And if you're playing like a full roster of 6 players, it could take about 45 minutes, but you can go less than that if you want to go quick. A lot of components in this game, a lot of cards in this game. So there's a lot of replayabilities you can do each time you play. It'll be different. Again, you're also rolling dice, so the outcome is different. You have that random output. You don't know what's going to happen. You can have a really top, quarterback, and you roll really bad. It happens, just like in fantasy football, you can draft the top players, but when they play in real life, they probably have a bad game. They give you 0 points or less points, and you end up losing that week. Just the same thing with this. You have that randomness output there. Let's do some pros and cons about this game. Again, it's not a very long episode. Just kind of first thoughts, boom, boom. I kind of want to make these green player episodes, again, really short, quick, straight to the point, and then you can be on your way here. And so, pros. Very easy game to learn. You can just kind of explain as you play, and then just play the game. You only have to do 2 things in the game, literally. You do your draft, which is the bulk of the game. The first half is the game, and then you do your weeks. Your weeks are pretty simple. You just you just draw a card that's a team news, and it'll say, Miami has decided to undergo a special experimental training regime. Anyone that has any Miami players gets a +1 die. And so then everyone looks and sees if they have Miami players, they get a +1 die. So now that player gets a +1. You write it down on your little score sheet. And then you move on, and then you have your individual players. So you'll deal out these cards to individual players, and they will read their card and saying, "Hey, trade quarterbacks with someone next to you," or your kicker is out for this week. So then now you have to kind of like readjust and figure it out. And after that, you just roll dice based on each position against the player you're going against. That's it. You write down your scores, you figure out who wins, and then you move on to the next player. And you just keep playing until the weeks are done, and then you have a championship game at the end. And then, whoever wins, and congratulations, you're the Huddle master. And pretty simple. That's all you do. That's all you're doing throughout the whole game. Very simple, easy to learn. Takes maybe 1 or 2 rounds to kind of pick up the strategy, but then you gotta kind of keep going. So I really enjoyed how the simplicity of that was. So the tokens are really nice. The little bidding tokens you get, they're like pretty much poker chips. They're really nice material. The cards are really good too. The artwork is not really like wowmanship artwork, but it's kind of gets to the point real quick there. Here are a little bit some cons here. The first con I want to do with an asterisk because I have kind of the earlier version, I guess, of the game. They updated it recently with some score sheets, which I'm pretty sure you can get from the website. But on the score sheets, whenever you were right, I have the old version of the score sheets. It was very hard to see the lines to distinguish what the divider lines. So you didn't know like when week 1 ended and then week 2 began, or where to write down what. So that was a little bit confusing to write down. Again, I will say that they have recently changed their score sheets, so that now it's very visible. Now you can see it. I've seen the pictures. Much better improvement. I got to get myself a pad of those. So Dylan, if you ever watch this, I need some score sheets. Maybe a dice tower when I see you over there. So I have the old versions, but they revamped it. So that was a little bit of a con of my game. If you get it now, I'm pretty sure you get the new one, so you can scratch that con. Another con for me that I believe I think maybe needs some improvement. They might be working on this. Is the color scheme. The different colors you can be. You can be green. So, hey, there's green. You already have my love for that. But there's not a variety of colors. You have green, and you have like a lighter green, like a neon green, and a dark shade green. And then you have red, white, black, gray. And I think like that's it. Like there's not very much of like I would substitute the like neon green and put like a blue in there. Maybe put a yellow in there. That way you can have like maybe more like football-esque kind of colors. I think that would be a good improvement, especially with the dice too. So I would say that with that, a little bit of that. I would say the board is kind of is a really unique board, but the slots kind of you have to like there's like they have like a little slot where you can put in cards to like hold your board. It's really tough to get in there. I feel like you have to like use your fingernails to like pull it up and put it there, but then like the slot like bends open, I guess sometimes, so it can kind of really bend open. I don't know if you guys might be improving that, but that's kind of like a bit of like, oh, so I usually don't even slide them in. I just leave them on top because I'm like, I'm not gonna bother trying to like spend some time like slotting him in there. And then there's also some rules that the FAQ on the rule sheet doesn't explain. For instance, like if you're drafting, some players might be silly and end up putting all their chips in on like the first round, and you have like no chips for other players. So what do? You're out of luck and you only have like a quarterback and you have no players. Then it kind of ruins the game because now you're obviously guaranteed to lose because you only have one quarterback. You're going to lose all your points. And so there's maybe a mechanic maybe you can choose to like prevent that from betting all. I don't know. But again, what I really like about these guys is that you can message them anytime. You can find them on Instagram. I'll leave links below to their website, to their Instagram. I'll leave links below for that so you can message them. They're super quick to respond and they'll give you clarification and kind of tell you like some ways to go navigate around that. And so that's pretty much it. An explanation of this game and my thoughts. I really enjoyed it. I think it's a fun time. I think it's a good time to play, especially if you're in that football community. If you really enjoy football, you'll really enjoy this game. If you don't like football, I think you still enjoy this game. Just how Dylan kind of explained in our episode. Please check out that episode and give them the support. How they explain their origins and it made me want to buy the game. Thankfully, and shout out to you guys, the Huddle. They provided me with a copy here to kind of play, and I enjoy it, and I really love playing it. It's a game that I do bring to people's houses that I know that might enjoy it, whether you're into football or not. Again, it's a game for you. I think you'll enjoy it. If you just like throwing dice and competing with each other, it's a cool. And even the boxes are really cool where you throw the dice in. They actually have a cool mechanic where if you throw the dice and then one of them falls out, you can't use that dice. You lost the points there. So a lot of dice is thrown everywhere and they're flying everywhere. So you got to be careful with that. You can also slam the dice into other players so you can change their values. It's really cool. It's really fun. Yes. So at the end, we have a ranking system that I will pull up here real quick. We have a 6 ranking system that we've kind of created, and I'll explain all the rankings here that we like to give at the end of this kind of green player review. And so I'll go ahead and give you guys the rankings. The first one is Party On Dudes, meaning that this is a fun game to play. It's not too bad. It's not great, but it's not horrible. But it's a chill, relaxing game. It's a game that you'll enjoy having fun, and you won't regret to buy. There's Rage Table Flip. This ranking is a frustrating game. It's a game that you just want to just flip the table because you're frustrated. Looking at you Monopoly where you just get frustrated, or also sometimes like a mechanic is too confusing and you just can't take it, and you just want to give up. That's what that ranking means. A nat 20. This is shout out to all my D&D fans. When you roll a nat 20, that means you rolled a critical success, a perfect 20 on a D20 dice, meaning that you succeeded on whatever you're trying to do without any flaw, perfection. So a nat 20 would mean that this is an amazing game. This is a game that's just perfect all around. You enjoyed it all throughout, and it's a great game to enjoy. And there's nothing wrong you can say about this game. Next one is No Phones Needed, meaning that this is not a boring game. There are some of those games where are kind of slow paced. Doesn't mean they're not fun. It's just a little bit of slow pace, kind of a bit of a slow burn. But you kind of build up your engine or your synergy or whatever. But this is No Phones Needed ranking is that this game is quick enough to keep you going, and that you won't have enough time to pull out your phone because it's just go, you're engaged. And so that's what this ranking is called. No Phones Needed. The next one is a Phone Scroller. So this is again pretty slow game. This is a game where if you're playing up to like 6 players, 4 players, maybe if you're first and you're done with your turn and you're on to the next and so forth players, maybe your turn is so long that maybe by the time I'm waiting for the 4th player to go, I'm pulling up my phone and just kind of scrolling on Instagram or wherever on socials because it's a pretty slow game. Again, it could be not a bad game, but it's a game that it's a little bit slow paced. It's a game that you might just need to maybe pull out your phone a little bit to wait your turn, or maybe think about your turn and then kind of wait it out. So there's that ranking, and the last one is Good Will It. This is a game that is so trash, that's so horrible that it's not even belongs in the trash. You need to just give it away to Goodwill so someone else can have it, and maybe they realize that's a trash game and it just gets passed around. So it's like an evil, like you're just passing on that game to this curse. You're passing Jumanji over to the next person. So Goodwill, it means it's a horrible game, not a game that we don't enjoy. A game that it was just I don't even want to put it on my shelf because it's just bad. And so those are the 6 rankings here. Now, if you had to ask me what I'm giving Huddle a ranking of, I'm giving it a party on dudes. It's a ranking. It's a game that, it's a fun game to play, almost party-esque game. One of my friends said that it's like a kind of a beer and pretzels game where like you just kick back with the homies and you just open a couple of bottle of brewskis and you're just having a good time, playing this game, messing around, throwing some dice, yelling at each other because you got traded their quarterback or their running back is out. And so it's a party on dudes. It's a fun game. Definitely worth the check out. Definitely give these guys some support. It's a really fun game to play. And if this isn't your cup of tea, there's plenty of other games to play. But I guarantee this is a fun game to play. To just make some memories, have some fun, and even get yourself introduced into the world of fantasy football. I think it's a great way to introduce. Now, it doesn't go into the super details of fantasy football, but it gives you kind of a little bit rundown of the basics of what happens. And so, I think it's a great game. My friends enjoyed it. Again, they were introduced to fantasy football kind of this way. They've heard about it, but never got into it. This is a great way to, without the commitment, and you can play, and that's it. And then who knows, maybe you want to get into fantasy football afterwards. So, guys, that is it for this episode here. Thank you so much for listening here. Thank you so much to Dylan and the other guys. I'm sorry, their names are escaping my mind. I'm so sorry, Dylan and everyone else that helped create Huddle. But you guys have a great game. It's a phenomenal game. It's a party on dudes for me. I'm curious to know you guys, what's your ranking? If you want to follow our rankings here, I'll give them to you one more time. There's Party on Dudes, Rage Table Flip, Nat 20, No Phones Needed, Phone Scroller, and Good Will It. So that's kind of the rankings. If you guys want to leave in the comment below, if you've tried out Huddle, let us know what the ranking is for you guys. Did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? Or if this is your first time listening to it, go check out that episode about Huddle, how we hear the origin story, and let us know. Maybe we convince you to get this game. Who knows? But that was our Green Player review here. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. Again, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. To grow the algorithm. I love doing these podcast episodes for you guys, and I love having you guys on our podcast episodes so we can talk. If there's any games that you want me to kind of review or do you just want me to check out, leave in the comments below. Send us an email at gamesandmustpod@gmail.com. That is at gamesandmustpod@gmail.com. Send us your game recommendations that we should review, do a green player, or maybe a top shelf or yard sale, kind of dive deeper into that game. I have a lot of great content coming to you this month of February. If you're listening to this podcast later, this is when we recorded during February. But we have a lot of people coming into the podcast. Very excited to have a lot of guests and talk some more board games, some video games, and pop culture, guys. So with all that being said, nos vemos para la próxima.